Hello and Mingalaba. Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. COVID-19 cases exceed 200 in Myanmar. Hluttaw passes loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan. The world is hit by the coronavirus, but illegal wildlife trade remain behind pandemics. Snack Film Festival puts the spotlight on isolation, encouraging the public's creativity. All of that coming up later, but for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. The Directorate of Investment and Company Administration, DICA, stated a majority of foreign enterprises primarily invest in the manufacturing sector in the 7 months of the current financial year, 2019 to 2020. Of the 162 foreign enterprises permitted and endorsed by Myanmar Investment Commission and the respective investment committees between 1st of October and April end of the current fiscal, 126 enterprises pumped FDI into the manufacturing sector. Other service sectors stood at second by attracting 14 businesses, while power and real estate sectors got the third spot with 6 projects respectively. In the current fiscal year, the power sector has topped $1.026 billion and the manufacturing sector has absorbed FDI of $544.8 million. The livestock and fisheries sector has drawn foreign investments of $22.36 million, and over $254.45 million has been pumped into the transport and communications sector, while the hotels and tourism sector has pulled in investments of $33.6 million. DICA Director General Utan Sinluin on 7th of April said the current coronavirus consequences have not affected the foreign investment sector. The proposals submitted to MIC include CMP businesses. At present, the kind of labor-intensive enterprise is facing financial hardship, disputes between the employers and employees, and the closure of factories. However, those cases in the industry did not hinder new investors. A total of 99 Myanmar nationals were transported back to their native places via the Taungji Business Center Highway Bus Terminal in Taungji, Shan State on Sunday. They came to Taungji through Monju Chainyan Bridge in Monjang Township in Tachilek District, Shan State East, after they had received quarantine for 21 days. Authorities in Taungji sent back the returnees from China and Special Region 4 back to their native places. Sunday's 99 returnees includes a woman from Yangon region, 8 men and 10 women from Mandalay region, 19 men and 56 women from Magway region, 2 women from Gaya State, and a man and a woman from Taungji, and 1 man from Sibor. So far, a total of more than 3,400 returnees were transported back to their native places via Taungji. Township's administrator, Upyo Mintai, said Taungji-based express bus operators transported them free of charge. Most of the returnees are from Rakhine State. With the illegal timber extraction rampant during the coronavirus pandemic period in Sagaing region, authorities are exerting great efforts, and thus over 5,000 tons of illegal timber was seized from October to April in this fiscal year 2019 to 2020, according to the Sagaing Region Forest Department. During the coronavirus infection period, the illegal timbers were confiscated in Sagaing, Shwebo, Monywa, Katha, Kalay, Molek, Kamti, and Tammu districts. The authorities have taken action against a total of 1,380 cases in Sagaing. Most of the seized illegal timbers are ownerless. The Forest Department filed charges against 218 cases, while 174 cases had legal action taken. The department also arrested 483 offenders who felled the trees illegally. A total of 123 Myanmar nationals stranded in Chennai, India, and its surrounding area following international flights was suspended due to COVID-19 pandemic were brought back home by relief flight on Sunday. Officials from the Ministry of Labour, Immigration and Population, Ministry of Health and Sports, and Yangon Region Government provided the returnees with immigration, medical checks, and 21-day facility quarantine. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in accordance with the directives of the National Level Central Committee for COVID-19 Prevention, Contain and Treatment on COVID-19, brought back the first batch of 95 Myanmar citizens from India on 19th of May 2020, following coordination between Myanmar Embassy in New Delhi and ministries concerned. A total of 218 Myanmar citizens have been brought back from India so far. As a third batch, Myanmar citizens stranded in Gaya of India and its surrounding areas will be brought back on 27th of May by M&A relief flight. Over 30,000 acres of mangrove forest will be raised to withstand the impact of natural disaster in Yangon region, according to the Yangon Region Forest Department. The department has planned to designate about 31,353 acres of mangrove as protected mangrove forest in Donggua, Jiaotan, and Gunjangong townships. Director Wu Dengdou of the Forest Department in Yangon region said they, quote, are taking necessary measures to designate the land as a protected mangrove forest in accordance with the 2018 forest law. Field inspection tours are also being conducted and the farming land under plants will be left. The mangrove along the Gulf of Modama will protect the Yangon region as a green wall, so the local people do not need to worry about the natural disasters. In 2015, there were 2,282 acres of mangrove forest in Yangon region. Now, there are 3,807 acres of mangrove forest in the incumbent government period, according to the Yangon Region Forest Department. That's all with the local news. Let's take a look at the first report now. The number of COVID-19 positive cases in Myanmar exceeds 200 until Sunday evening. All the new confirmed cases are found from those kept in social isolation and quarantine. Meanwhile, nearly 60% of the confirmed cases have been identified as recovered cases, and 102 have already been discharged from respective hospitals.
According to the announcement issued by the Ministry of Health and Sports, the number of COVID-19 positive cases in Myanmar exceed 200 until the evening of 24th April. All of the new confirmed cases are found from those being in social isolation and quarantine. Meanwhile, nearly 60% of the whole cases have been identified as recovered cases, and 102 have already been discharged from the respective hospitals, and the rest 88 people are kept under surveillance and in isolation as hospital quarantine. Dr. Tan Aiso is the director from the Health Knowledge Promotion Division MOHS, and he said,
Although the number of the tests is increasing, it is not too large. Nearly 600 people were screened in a single day during the last few weeks. Today, more than 200 are being checked. The number of occurrence of the domestic positive cases is slowly increasing. The Ministry of Health and Sports is doing its utmost to carry out the activities of testing everywhere, and it is also performing anti-COVID-19 measures in cooperation with the military. In coming weeks, we hope to check more numbers of testing daily. The government has eased some restriction on the public for ensuring streamlined operation of the country business, and it is not for the time of entertaining or nature walk and staying calm. It is the time for the authorities and the public to get involved in the fight against the disease.
The Chinese government donated more than 375 million kyats worth of laboratory equipment to the COVID-19 lab in Mandalay and sent a team of health professionals to provide training. The donation was made after a phone call between President Wu Wenmie and Chinese President Xi Jinping involving the continuation of the coronavirus-related assistance to Myanmar. According to the Chinese Consulate General, 2 test machines will be placed at the recently renovated lab, and the government expects testing with the machines to start on 25 May. The new devices will allow 2 tests a day for 180 people, with each testing taking 3 to 5 hours. Now the confirmed cases for COVID-19 were found in all the states and regions except Gaya region in Myanmar. The 276 and 330 townships countrywide are still free from COVID-19. Among the COVID-19 infected states and regions, Yangon is still becoming the most infested area, with 156 confirmed cases in 28 townships. 71 out of the 149 cases in Yangon were traced to a religious ceremony in Insane Township. Uwe Pyohan, Hluttaw representative from the Insane Township constituency too said.
လူတွေအများကြီးတွေ့နေတာစိုးရင်ကြမဟုတ်ဘူးလူတွေအများကြီးတွေ့နေတာအလုပ်လုပ်လို့တွေ့နေတာလူတွေအများကြီးမတွေ့ဘဲနဲ့ finance ဖြစ်နေတယ်အဲ့ finance တွေကနေအများကြီးစီကူးနေတာနဲ့တကယ်တည်းမှာချင်းချင်းမှာ outbreak ဖြစ်သွားနိုင်တယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့လို့အားလုံး
We should not panic more occurrences of the positive cases. It's because we are working in a timely manner and at such time. Only if there are more silent carriers can more chance appear to get infection. And we do have fewer clinics. We can only track more positive cases through the fever clinic. In my experience, fever clinics are really important and I would like to recommend the township COVID-19 committees in a timely manner.
According to a survey done by the Ministry of Health and Sports on 9 May, the survey found that less than a quarter experienced shortness of breath. Around 18% of the patients had sore throat and 13% experienced sneezing, runny nose, and nasal congestion. Around 10% suffer from nausea and vomiting as well as loss of taste and smell. Furthermore, some 13% of those surveyed said they experience fatigue. I am Pyodiritu. This is news reporting from Myanmar Radio.
That's a report on the COVID-19 cases exceeding 200 in Myanmar. All right, we'll move on to the next report. After the Ministry of Health and Sports and the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry discussed and responded to the questions raised by the Hluttaw representatives, Hluttaw approved to get $50 million loan from the International Development Association of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan for COVID-19. Thoras Hussein has the story.
On the third day of second Hluttaw System regular session, which was held on Friday, the loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan was approved. Dr. Myanmar Today, Union Minister for Health and Sports, and Mama Win, Deputy Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry, responded to the questions raised by the Hluttaw representatives and discussed about $50 million loan proposal from the International Development Association (IDA) of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan. The loan is to be spent in treatment session of the COVID-19 because a lot of financial support has been provided for containment session. The Hluttaw representative presented the suggestion of forming infectious disease hospitals in each state and region, and concerning that question, Union Minister Dr. Myanmar replied that
if a hospital is established, human resources, budget, equipment, and infrastructure are essential to be enough. Especially, human resources are urgently needed. Even though we cannot have separated infectious disease hospitals in states and regions, we make isolation wards upgrade. We are also planning to form Infectious Disease Institute at Waibaki Specialist Hospital and Kandor Nadi Hospital.
Concerning the question of the Hluttaw representative about testing of the COVID-19, Union Minister Dr. Myanmar also explained that
we have to consider using limited resources effectively. We have enough PCR machines for diagnosing, but the problem is that there is limited reagent, which is enormously demanded worldwide. So we have to give priority to test possible persons, including all primary contact persons, secondary contact persons, and patients under investigation. Starting from 17 May, all entries from air or land will be tested. Besides the National Health Laboratory and Department of Medical Research of Yangon, starting from June, we can run tests in Taungji, Mandalay, and Molamyai.
40% of COVID-19 patients show mild syndrome, 40% show moderate syndrome, 15% have severe syndrome, and 5% need to be treated in intensive care unit ICU. According to the contingency plan, 2.7% of total beds of the hospital are to be provided as ICU beds. The need of ventilator is not crucial right now, and there are only 5 patients in the whole country to be treated with ventilator. According to Union Minister Dr. Myanmar, hospital assessments are carried out to fulfill the needs in upgrading hospitals, and training for health workers are provided as well.
COVID-19 Economic Relief Plan (CERP) ကို2020ပြည့်နှစ်ဧပြီလ29ရက်နေ့မှာ ထုတ်ပြန်ခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဈေးရာဘီမှာ
To remedy the socio-economic impacts caused by the COVID-19, the government has already provided COVID-19 Economic Relief Plan (CERP), including 78 action plans in April. To implement action plans in CERP, Union Emergency Budget, COVID-19 Fund, and Transfer Budget from 2019 and 2020 fiscal years are to be used. Moreover, financial assistance is provided by international organizations. For this loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan, the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry is responsible to supervise the contract signing, contract implementation, and cash out procedures in collaboration with the World Bank. The Ministry of Health and Sports is to report on the improving performances of the plan.
And Hluttaw approved to get $50 million loan from the International Development Association (IDA) of the World Bank for Health Sector Contingency Plan for the COVID-19. That's all for now. This is Thora Swison from MI Radio.
That's a report on the Hluttaw passing loan for Health Sector Contingency Plan. Stay with us. We're going to bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. With the rise of the COVID-19 issues across the world, there have been certain illegal consequences arising behind the scene of the pandemics, which is the illegal wildlife trade. In a webinar hosted by the Yangon Journalist School, Dr. Nemyo Shui, manager of Fauna and Flora International, shared his perspective and how illegal wildlife trade remains behind the pandemics. David Henner has more.
The illegal trade of protected species is a highly lucrative form of organized crime with deadly consequences. In addition to the threatening ecosystems and inciting violence, wildlife trafficking plays a key role in spreading diseases, including the novel coronavirus COVID-19 that is now sweeping across the world. With that said, Dr. Nemyo Shui will explain us more about on why illegal wildlife trafficking becomes a thing.
ဒီပိုင်းထဲမှာပဲတော်ရန်တိဆိုင်ရောင်းဝယ်ပေါက်ကားမှုကကမ္ဘာနဲ့အဝမ်းမှာအမတန်ဈေးကွက်တွင်ကျယ်လျက်ရှိပါတယ်။တော်ရန်တိဆိုင်ရောင်းဝယ်ပေါက်ကားတဲ့အကြောင်းရင်းများစွာရှိပါတယ်။အဲဒီထဲမှာနံပါတ်1က
Wildlife crime is a big business run by dangerous international networks. Wildlife and animal parts are trafficked much like illegal drugs and arms. By its very nature, it is almost impossible to obtain reliable figures for the value of the illegal wildlife trade. Rhino horn, elephant ivory, and tiger products continue to command high prices among consumers, especially in Asia. Myths and conspiracy theories in which people consider that the rhino horn can cure cancer has led to massive poaching in South Africa and pushed the price of rhino horn to rival gold. But there are more reasons for why illegal wildlife trade occurs in such variety of areas of the world, such as illegal opening of zoo pet trade, in which people adventurously want to pet the wildlife species. So these are some common issues in which illegal wildlife trading has been ascending over the year.
ဒါတော်ရန်တိဆိုင်ရောင်းဝယ်ပေါက်ကားရတဲ့အကြောင်းရင်းလက်ရှိအခြေအနေတွေကိုကျွန်တော်ကနဦးတင်ပြခြင်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်။
Dr. Nemyo Shui also told MI Radio for how these illegal trades could impact the whole nature of the wildlife ecosystems and their habitats.
တချို့နေရာတွေမှာတော့ဒီတော်ရန်တိဆိုင်ကိုပေါ်ပေါ်တင်တင်မြင်မြင်သာသာရောင်းဝယ်နေတော့လေတချို့နေရာမှာတော့လျှို့ဝှက်ရောင်းဝယ်နေတာတွေရှိပါတယ်
Local wildlife is considered an important resource by many communities, often the poorest in the developing world. Some rural households depend on wild animals for protein, trees for fuel, and both wild animals and plants for a natural course. Excessive exploitation of species affects the living planet in wider ways. Just as overfishing causes imbalances in the whole marine system, our complex web of life on Earth depends on careful and thoughtful use of wildlife species and their habitats.
ဒါကတော့ရန်တိဆိုင်ရောင်းဝယ်မှုနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အထောက်အထားမြန်မာနိုင်ငံထဲကပုံပြပါ
COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus, scientists and researchers partially confirmed that it is likely jumped from bats to endangered pangolins and then to humans through wildlife market. 3/4 of new human diseases such as SARS, Ebola, and HIV come from animals. These are known as zoonotic diseases, and wildlife trafficking plays a key role in their transmission from animals to humans. Wildlife trafficking has also led to the dramatic decline of many species, including rhinos, elephants, and pangolins. Dr. Nemyo Shwe will also explain us more about the zoonotic diseases and why wildlife trafficking plays a big part in those things.
ကနဦးတော့လည်းတချို့နေရာလေးတွေရှင်းလင်းပြီးသားဖြစ်ပါတယ် deforestation ပေါ့တော်ရန်တိရစ္ဆာန်တွေရဲ့အဓိကမိကိုတော့ပေါ့အိမ်ပျက်စီးမှုကသူတို့ကိုအဓိကပြဿနာပါဒီရောဂါပြန့်နှံ့မှုဖြစ်စေ
When any kind of disease can jump from a species to another species or from an animal to a human, it is called a zoonotic disease. And that is incredibly dangerous because our immune systems aren't prepared to deal with them. In the case of COVID-19, we know that it came from wild animals. It's present in bats and pangolins and snakes. We don't know exactly which of these animals provided the link to humans, and we don't know exactly how the virus moved. But what we do know is that when you bring wild animals into contact with humans and livestock, you massively increase the risk of all these different diseases, jumping between species and going into the human population and just causing havoc. As wildlife trafficking plays a big role in hunting down the vulnerable wildlife species and taking down their habitats, through various kinds of ways, these become a crucial sector to the upbringing of these kinds of zoonotic diseases.
Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
Well, let's move on to the last report before we go to international news. On 18th of May 2020, Snack Film Festival, a unique platform for all Myanmar cinema enthusiasts organized by Hluttaw Media, 3-act and counseling corner, was launched through an online webinar. David Tanner will tell us more.
The festival encourages everyone to video capture their creative take on the recent issue of isolation amidst pandemic, as well as it offers an opportunity for major filmmakers to showcase their clips to industry leaders. The participant will furthermore be able to enjoy a variety of support content crafted for them by the organizers and prominent figures of Myanmar cinematography industry. With that said, Ko Aung Piesong, project executive of Hluttaw, will explain us more on why this Snack Film Festival has been initiated.
အခုဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အားလုံးသိကြတဲ့အတိုင်းဒီ COVID-19 ကြောင့်ကျွန်တော်တို့အားလုံးအိမ်မှာပဲနေကြရတယ်
Since April, the government officially required the public to stay at home in order to prevent the mass infection of coronavirus. Some people are lucky enough to be with their families, but many have to stay alone. Isolation can be difficult to be coped with. We decided to create a platform where people could capture and showcase their daily lives during stay at home to spread awareness of isolation as well as encouraging creativity during these unprecedented times.
ဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ဗီဒီယိုပေးပို့နိုင်တဲ့ကာလကတော့ဒီနေ့မေလ18ရက်ကနေဇွန်လ9ရက်နေ့ထိပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်
The festival allows the contestants to submit their films starting from the 18th of May until 7th of June 2020. All the films not longer than 3 minutes must be produced with a mobile phone and no restriction is set on the age, gender or ethnicity of the participants.
ဇွန်လ9ရက်နေ့ထိပေးပို့ထားတဲ့ဗီဒီယိုတွေကမှစကားတင်ဗီဒီယို10ခုကိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ကဲဖြစ်တိုင်းလူကြီးများဖြစ်တဲ့
5 famous judges, Academy Suisintai, cinematographer and director Maung Tamien, Thaidi, co-founder of Watan Film Fest, co-founder of 3ACT, Momia Meizachi, and film curator of Busan Film Festival, Kim Yong-woo, will further analyze the submitted films and choose 10 finalists. The finalists will compete in 2 categories. The first is the Public Choice Award and another is a Judge Choice Award.
စုများကိုတော့ဇွန်လ20ရက်နေ့မှာကြီးညာပေးသွားမှာပါစုနှစ်စုလုံးအတွက်စုချင်းငွေ7သိန်းစီကြီးမြင့်သွားပါမယ်
Apart from promotion of cinematography, the festival aims to put the problem of isolation into the spotlight and champion good coping tactics, connecting art with maintaining a good mental health. Connecting to the issues, Academy Suisintai also told MI Radio for why being a responsive content creator is important to these current circumstances.
The role of responsive citizen ဆိုတာကိုပြောချင်တယ် citizen ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာ content creator ကျမတို့လိုမျိုးထုတ်လွှင့်မှုတွေကိုလုပ်တဲ့လူတွေဟာ ပို့ပြီးတော့တာဝန်ကြီးပါတယ်
The content creators have to be more responsible for their actions and their contents than most of the people. The message that the content creator gave shouldn't be misleading or toxic for the consumer. Content can be a wide range of productions. For example, it can be a feature film, documentary, short film, or TV series, and people who produce it can be named as content creators. As I've been inspecting the current trend of the youth content creators, I have made a conclusion that most of them trying to catch up into the business platforms. But one thing they don't quite get is that entertainment education platform is on the rise of the demands. And in the future, the social investment in these kinds of entertainment education platform will be ascending more and thrive. With that said, as we are in a situation in which caring ourselves became a pact of caring other people, it is the best time for the content creators to thrive in and give people a message which can be entertaining as well as giving education. And in doing so, you can be a responsive content creator.
ကောင်းမလဲဆို solution တစ်ခုကိုပါထည့်ပေးမယ်ဆိုတော့မှကျမတို့ responsive content creator ဖြစ်မှာအဲ့တော့ story တွေကိုပြောကြမယ်ပြောတဲ့အခါကျလို့ရှိရင် facts နဲ့ narrative မှာပေါ့ creative ဖြစ်ဖို့လိုတယ်
In this event, experts from Counseling Corner will also organize workshops and panel discussions through the event, allowing participants and the public to get to know more about mental hygiene and support. Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
And that's all we have for today's reports. I believe it's time now for international news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived at the courthouse for the start of a corruption trial on Sunday in a Jerusalem court, where he will become the first serving Israeli Prime Minister to face criminal prosecution in a case he calls a political witch hunt. Flanked by a clutch of cabinet ministers from his right-wing Likud party, Netanyahu appealed to public opinion, taking off his mask to address television cameras in the courthouse hallway. The hearing only lasted an hour, as it was mostly procedural. The court excused Netanyahu from appearing in person at the next hearing, set for July 19th. Israeli analysts say the trial court could last months or even years.
Citizens of Israel, what's on trial today is the wish to eliminate the will of the people, the attempt to topple me and the right-wing camp.
At the start of his trial, Netanyahu professed his innocence, denying allegations of bribery, fraud and a breach of trust. The hearing concluded with defence lawyers asking for a 6-month delay in proceedings. The trial comes just a week after Netanyahu was sworn back into office as the leader of a unity government. He's the first standing leader to face trial in the country's history. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, hundreds of his supporters and opponents held rival rallies.
I hope it will be strong, very strong for us, for all of us, for all Israel. We love him very much.
Today, first time in the history of this state of Israel, an acting prime minister in office is being charged in 3 counts of bribery, and he's going to stand court. Hopefully, the court is going to make justice and is going to send him to jail.
Chinese President Xi Jinping joined a deliberation with deputies from Hubei province at the 3rd session of the 13th National People's Congress on Sunday. Take a look at the video. The White House on Sunday announced travel restrictions on Brazil, which has become the nation with the second highest number of COVID-19 cases. The statement said the action would, quote, help ensure foreign nationals who have been in Brazil do not become a source of additional infections in our country, noting that this measure would not apply to the flow of commerce between the two countries. The order is effective at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on May 28th, according to the White House. Earlier in the day, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien told CBS, quote, face the nation. There will likely be a decision to suspend entry for travelers arriving from Brazil. In other news, Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that China and Russia would turn the COVID-19 crisis into an opportunity, and bilateral relations will receive a strong boost after COVID-19. Wang made the remarks at his annual press conference during the third session of the 13th National People's Congress on Sunday. In response to a question asking whether China and Russia would join forces to challenge U.S. predominance, Wang said the two countries have supported and defended each other against slander and attacks coming from certain countries.
China and Russia have both had difficult moments in fighting COVID-19, but the two countries have rendered each other help and support. How do you assess the China-Russia relations during this period? Has this relationship stood the test? There are speculations that China and Russia may join forces to challenge U.S. predominance. Do you agree with this characterization?
While closely following the COVID-19 response in Russia, we have done and will continue to do everything we can to support it. I believe, under the leadership of President Vladimir Putin, the indomitable Russian people will defeat the virus, and the great Russian nation will emerge from the challenge with renewed vigor and vitality. Since the start of COVID-19, President Xi Jinping and President Putin have had several phone calls and kept the closest contact and high level of strategic communication between the two world leaders. Russia is the first country to have sent medical experts to China, and China has provided the most anti-epidemic assistance to Russia. Two-way trade has gone up despite COVID-19. Chinese imports from Russia have grown faster than imports from China's other major trading partners. The two countries have supported and defended each other against slanders and attacks coming from certain countries. Together, China and Russia have forged an impregnable fortress against the political virus and demonstrated the strength of China-Russia strategic coordination. I have no doubt that the two countries' joint response to the virus will give a strong boost to China-Russia relations after COVID-19. China is working with Russia to turn the crisis into an opportunity. We will do so by maintaining stable cooperation in energy and other traditional fields, holding a China-Russia year of scientific and technological innovation, and accelerating collaboration in e-commerce, biomedicine, and the cloud economy to make them new engines of growth in our post-COVID-19 economic recovery. China and Russia will also enhance strategic coordination. By marking the 75th anniversary of the UN, we stand ready to firmly protect our victory in World War II, uphold the UN Charter and basic norms of international relations, and oppose any form of unilateralism and bullying. We will enhance cooperation and coordination in the UN, SCO, BRICS, and G20 to prepare ourselves for a new round of the once-in-a-century change shaping today's world. I believe that with China and Russia standing shoulder to shoulder and working back to back, the world will be a safer and more stable place where justice and fairness are truly upheld. Thank you.
Scientists in Thailand began testing a COVID-19 vaccine on monkeys as part of an independent study. 13 long-tailed macaques were injected with the vaccine, and their antibody levels will then be measured after exposure to the virus. Take a look at the video. that's all we have for now. Thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Wherever you are in the world, please stay home, stay safe, do every bit you can to help fight this pandemic. I'll see you again. Goodbye.